What's up, Internet? We are back with my N64 Super Multi-Cart Mabob thingy. Last time we played the cruising games, which I looked up because I was interested in Cruising Exotica after playing that. And that is a really expensive game. Like, I was willing to pay like 15, maybe 20 bucks for it. Yeah, I think on eBay it's like 70. So I probably won't be owning a copy anytime soon. Next we have to play DDR Disney Dancing Museum, which I guess is Japanese exclusive. First of all, I thought DDR was after the N64. I'll admit I'm not a music game guy at all, but this is news to me. Second of all, this video is probably going to get completely copyright claimed because of this, but let's do it anyway because it's not like I planned on making money at any point in my life, so let's go. But seriously, there's a DDR game on the N64. That sounds weird to me. I know there were some on, like, the Game Boy Advance. I know there were some on, like, the PlayStation 1, but N64 just feels not right for that. Alright, it's Disney Dancing Museum. I'm gonna pretend I know what these menus say. But, what do we got here? It's DDR. Hit the arrows. Got it. I'm gonna be bad at this. Hey, this is an actual Mickey Mouse theme song, so it probably won't get copyright claimed, I hope. If this is, then it's Disney's fault, and I hate them. Let's dance! Oh god, this is bad. I don't have a dance pad. Also, I can't dance. Also, I'm not sure I can talk too much for this because this is literally giving me a headache just trying to process arrows and directions and shit. This isn't the weirdest DDR game I've ever seen. Like, there was that weird... How am I supposed to do that on a controller? You can't do two different directions on a control pad. Like, I might be able to do one of those directions on the pad and the other on, like, the control stick, but no matter what way you're holding onto this controller, no matter what N64 controller you've got, that is going to be a pain in the ass to do. That was somehow perfect. There must be some delay that you can work with, I guess. I don't know this song, I don't know the beats, I don't know rhythm. This song is surprisingly English for a Japanese game. Yeah, when you see like two opposite directions, that doesn't make a lot of sense when it's on a DDR pad. But was there even a DDR pad for the N64? Like, that was awful. Hey Vermilion, how you doing? Oh, man. Oh, dear lord, it's a small world. It's a small universe. Remember? We used to sing along to this song. I wish this was a Wari Hajimari. That's a better song. Louie, Huey, and Doofy, or whatever their names were. Actually, I've watched a little bit of that DuckTales remake. It's surprisingly legit, and they make the characters actually different, and Scrooge McDuck is still the greatest Disney character of all time. Followed by Darkwing, obviously. And they teased a sequel to Darkwing in it, so that was good. This is really awkward to do on a controller. And also, I just want to stress, there was an N64 DDR game. I'm genuinely curious what this costs to buy a cartridge of now. I think I'm gonna have to check eBay, like, even before I move on to the next game, just because that's morbid curiosity at this point. Sprites aren't too bad. I'll give it that much. Controls are kind of ass, though. This is Disney DDR Dance Museum, I believe. I'll see if I can find it on eBay real quick. Let's see. Disney Dance Museum. Shipping lowest first on eBay is $15 plus shipping. Is there a DDR mat that comes with this? I'm curious now. Yes, there is, and it's 150 bucks. No thanks. But that was a weird curio, if nothing else. I'm gonna move on because I really want my video not to be copyright claimed, if I can help that. Oh, let's do something else that isn't DDR, please. Dark Rift. I think this was a fighting game. We're doomed. It's Dark Rift. Actually, I think Dark Rift was connected to Mace, I think. Or it was like a sequel to Mace, or Mace was the sequel. I think. Or I'm thinking of a different game altogether. This is gonna be bad. This is just a train wreck already. Fighting games. We're good. Morphix. It's knockoff Dural. Or Glacius, maybe. Okay, I don't need to know the character's entire life story. Oh, you get a sword. Ow. That was the sound that imp flame attacks make in Doom. Okay, you can block with the C buttons. Oh, C down, for some reason, is high kick. Okay. So, hitting with arm equals lightsaber sounds. Controlling your weapons is the C buttons. That's certainly an interesting control style. A does literally nothing. I don't know, man. Like, you've seen it. I played that weird, like, Beasties game. That was pretty bad. I think that was still worse than this. This is not good by any means, but I don't think it's Beasties bad. Oh, trust me, I think there are worse things than Biofreaks. Not to say I want to play Biofreaks again, but, you know, I think there are probably worse things on here. Still, and I just shows how I can't get over this. There was a DDR game on the N64. That just sounds like so many different flavors of that shouldn't be. Like, first of all, the sound compression should make that almost basically impossible. I mean, have you ever played Mega Man 64? I can tell you the sound compression on that is just... That just shows how bad the sound compression on the N64 was. Versus, like, the PlayStation. You know what I just realized? We're gonna have to play Gex at some point. And Glover. Oh, that's gonna be a sad day for me. Do your weird imp flamey ball move. There we go. Perfect! I'm the best fighter ever. Oh, you played Glover recently. I'm so sorry you had to do that. If you want to play a good version of Glover, go play Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. That's almost a good game. Actually, if we're talking about Glover, I actually recently played, on this cartridge, I loaded it, the prototype to Glover 2. Which was exceptionally weird. Because someone out there thought Glover needed a sequel. I don't think it was this game, but I think it was one of those other fighting games like Mace or something. I heard that one of the actresses who like portrayed, whoa, that's cool. One of the actresses who portrayed like one of the characters in promotional images is having like a call to arms on Twitter to find one of the props they made for her because someone stole it at a convention. I think it was the same lady who played Sonya Blade in the either first or third Mortal Kombat, because I think they had different actresses. But yeah, on Twitter, she's having like this huge rally to find her little prop helmet that was made specifically for her head. And I'd like to think that she would get it eventually. Like, I like that to think the power of the internet would let that happen. But the cynic in me also says that the fact that she desperately wants it means that whatever it's worth just went up in price a whole bunch. So, you know. But I like that people are trying to do cool things like that. Like finding lost relics online. Stuff like that's fun to me. This fighting game is really crap. And I think we've got another fighting game after this. Hooray! We just folded ourselves in half. Why do I have to win 3 times in a row? That's not how fighting games. That's not how fighting games world. Someone found the Gold Master of StarCraft 1 at a garage sale. That's cool. I like hearing about weird stuff like that. You know, like, as an archivist, I like to hear about, like, gaming artifacts people find in, like, weird situations like that. That's cool to me. That was underwhelming. They could have modified that animation to have been cool. Soul Calibur is a 3-round game. That is true. And Soul Calibur 2 is one of the coolest fighting games I think I've ever played. It had Link in it. And it had an adventure mode, which was awesome. And it's way better than this fighting game. I got bear hugged. Okay, that little kick there, that was kind of comical. What's with that backpedaling animation, guy? I can button mash the C buttons. Okay, I want to point out that shielding removes all damage. There's no chip damage in that. That's interesting. I do actually have a copy of Soul Calibur 3. I think I have like 2 copies of it, actually. They don't have Link in it, so why do I care? You know? But I have heard it's good. That said, I've played the adventure mode to Soul Calibur 5, which is hearing Yuri Lowenthal whine a whole bunch for about 2 hours. It was not good, and it didn't involve Ezio, so I didn't care too much. But I like the character creator in Soul Calibur. I think that's a cool system. And that's the perfect analogy for this game in general. It's the exact same thing about my good old Galaxy Fight review, you know? It's like, I cannot talk about this anymore. I have to talk about anything else related to this because all of that's more interesting. Yeah, Soul Calibur 5 is awful. It's just, it's really just quite awful. Also, half the characters are Sophisha for some reason. Like, if you want to talk about clone characters, half the characters in that cast are Sophisha. For some reason. Well, the reason is you play as our kids. They're both Sophisha clones. Then you run into Sophisha. Then you run into, like, a clone Sophisha. Then you run into, like, real clone Sophisha. And then a whole bunch of nonsense. And there's way too many. Also, the story was bad. You know the sad thing is? Before I played Soul Calibur 2... I had only ever played 2 other Soul Calibur games, and one of them was Soul Calibur 5, and the other was Soul Calibur Legends.
And I only played that because of the Tales of Symphonia cameo, which is one of my favorite games. And they couldn't even get the game's voice actor to play him again, which is sad. They had to get the sequel's voice actor to play Lloyd, which is sad because Lloyd had such a great voice. Good old Scott Manville. But he's still getting work in as Robin in Teen Titans Go, which I have no positive feelings about, but still. I don't know, like, Legends, I kind of like the idea of having, like, a full fighting game based on, or a full adventure game based on a fighting game. You know, but I think I've only ever seen it work once kind of well. And that's because, you know, fighting games are not meant to be covering a lot of ground really fast. They're very slow, very plotting. You have to, like, precisely plan out every single step. So trying to make, like, an adventure game around that in an engine like that rarely ever works. Like, go look at the Tobal games. They had, like, a bonus adventure mode, and those were awful, awful games. Soul Calibur Legends, also very, very awful. Although I'm weirdly kind of nostalgic for it. I kind of want to get a copy of it for some reason. It's probably Stockholm Syndrome is what it is. But the only fighting game I've ever seen that was a good adventure game was this obscure PS1 Japanese exclusive called Abala Burn, which I've got a gameplay video on my channel of. And that game was actually quite legit. Actually, if we're talking about, like, weird, bad Wii games I've got, like, Stockholm Syndrome about, I remember this game, I think it was called Dragon Blade or something like that. And the whole thing is you were this guy who had a village who was completely razed, so you got angry and you picked up a sword that had a spirit of a dragon in it, so you could kind of turn into a dragon. I remember that game being completely awful and worthless, and yet kind of want to try it again. Like I said, it's probably just Stockholm Syndrome, but, you know. Yeah, Soul Calibur's basically dead. Alright, next game on here is Deadly Arts. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is a bad fighting game, too. There weren't a lot of good ones on the N64, I gotta admit. Like, Rakuga Kids, that one was kind of good. That might be it. Deadly Arts. Oh god, we're doomed. This actually doesn't look too bad. I think I might have a copy of this, or I played it on something. Because this looks familiar to me. A bad good Wii Crystal Chronicles game. Are you talking about My Life as a King, My Life as a Dark Lord, the weird Crystal Tower Defense game that used Final Fantasy Tactics sprites? Or are you talking about Crystal Bearers? Because I've played a couple of those. I remember seeing Crystal Bearers and seeing like the preview stuff on it. And really, really wanting to play it, and then forgetting about it forever. And then I bought it a few years back and played it once. And was sad about it because it looked interesting. I'm fine with not using any space in my controller pack. Alright, gotta pick a character. No. Maybe. No. She looks like she can take care of business, and we will fight Hat. Hat, I saw you. There you are. There we go. Yeah, and, like, the entire game about Crystal Bears is, like, just a bunch of QuickTime events from what I remember. Round one. Ready? Fight. Oh god, this game does not use the control stick. That's not good, considering I'm not using a standard N64 controller. My D-pad is, like, literally in the worst place for this. Oh, this is so clumsy. Burn. Oh, he does actually lose health sitting in there. Good. He should. Wow, there's not a lot of health, or not a lot of time to take any single round in this. $10 for Crystal Bears. That's a good deal, man. I think I paid $50 for mine. Like, it's not a cheap game. Round two.
What was that sound effect supposed to be? Bonk. This music is not fighting game music. This is elevator music. Bonk. Well, those playbacks are nauseating as hell. Also, I got a perfect win. Twoose in one day. Thank you, brain. Twice in one day. I am the master of bad fighting games. And English. Oh, this is so awkward. How do you do a grab? I want to do a grab. It's none of the C buttons, so this is different than the other fighting game. I just jumped off the wall. Cool. This is, I believe it's Deadly Arts. Although I'm thinking it's probably better to call it Deadly Farts, because that's the kind of game this is. Oh, this is not very good. Forward punch? Let's try it. What? What? No. Go away. Yes. Alright, there we go. Come on, Hat. I'm gonna kick your ass. Yes, this is Deadly Arts. Forward and punch. We'll try it. Giving me tips relative to King of Fighters doesn't help. I'm bad at King of Fighters. And pretty much every SNK fighting game. Oh. Nope, but I comboed him. It's not the Z button, it's not the shoulder buttons. I'm guessing it's some sort of weird combo of things. I don't know what just happened, but I'll take that victory. I played a lot of, like, knockoff King of Fighter on my Pandora's box. They've got, like, a bunch of hacked versions of it. I'm still awful at pretty much every SNK fighting game, though. Except for Samurai Showdown 4. Huh. My planet needs me. I have always thought, like, the best King of Fighters game, it's not strictly a King of Fighters game, mind you, but the best one, in my opinion, has always been Garou, Mark of the Wolves. This reminds me of the opening stage in Bushido Blade, which is one of my favorite fighting games. Though it's a very different kind of fighting game. Oh man, I want to play Bushido Blade now. Never got a chance to play the sequel, always wanted to. Yeah, I really like Garou. I can't do more than 1 or 2, like, levels in it just because I'm the worst at fighting games, but I quite like Garou a lot. It's like the only one in, like, the King of Fighters, Fatal Fury kind of family I ever really liked. Garou is definitely a good game. I would probably put it on my top 10 list of best fighting games. Not that I'm good at any of them, except for Gotcha Force, which I will defend that I'm the best at. To the death. We're not playing Gotcha Force today. We did that the other day. Eat basic combo AI, because that seems to be your kryptonite. I would have thought we'd been out of the ring at this point. You know what's really kind of sad is, like, the SNK special, like, mashup fighter that has, like, the Metal Slug in it and everything. Because for some reason, that's a fighting game on the PS2 that uses only the directional buttons, and it's so uncomfortable to play. I think the Xbox 360 version does have, like, control stick support, which is good, because that game needs it, but it's a neat game. It just has the worst PlayStation controls ever. I'm honestly doing better at this than I thought I was gonna. I don't think this game is set terribly hard if I can do well at it, though. Alright, we'll go one more and then we'll do our next game. Oh, it's so clumsy. Doesn't look too bad, though. Gotta admit, for a 3D fighting game on the N64, it looks pretty good. Although the frame rate's a little choppy. Yeah, you probably do need a stick to play it right on the PS2. Gasp Fighters. I think I've heard of that, actually. I win. By virtue of you have less health. Alright, let's go. Oh. Oh no, my car! Oh my god! What's the line from Street Fighter? I was never very good at Street Fighter. I only ever won one round of Street Fighter 2 ever. Yeah, this is a Konami game. Actually, I think most of the games we've played so far have been. This and the Disney DDR thing were. For sure. Alright, let's see what the next game on our cartridge is. So that was Deadly Arts. Next is Derby Stallion 64. Hell yeah. Oh, and we're definitely doing a second episode tonight, because we are definitely playing Dazemon. I'm excited about that. But this is horse racing! Now, if you're not familiar with gambling in Japan, it's illegal, except for horse racing, and kind of mahjong. Except mahjong is still illegal, except they've made a way to make it legal, it just takes extra steps, basically. Not Konami, it's by Parody Bit, apparently. I have never heard of these people. Oh man, I'm just looking forward to Dazemon now. This is going to be completely unplayable. Fashion! Well, obviously we need that. Alright, now we gotta... Obviously. Gotta make a match. I'm hoping that it didn't just say it's saved to my memory card. This is gonna be me trying to play through this game, just figuring out... Okay, we've done this already. So what's the next step of taking part in a derby? There's so many horse racing games. If you ever try and import Japanese games like in bulk and you see like a big like bulk sale of them online, chances are you're going to see maybe one or two games that'll make you want to buy, and then the rest of the pile are going to be like mahjong, horse racing games, and visual novels. Breeding Stud on PS1, huh? Okay, that name alone makes me want to see it. Oh god, am I gonna click this? I'm gonna... That is a very horrifying demon horse. Also, that's one of those games that tells you exactly what the game type is, so you know it's good. I don't think I can play this game. That's sad. Because I don't think it's actually saving stuff. I think is what this stuff's on. Yeah, I don't think it's actually saving data or anything. Ah, well. Weird Japanese nonsense I can't interact with because I can't read it. All my Japanese is phonetic. I can't read any of it. Which leads us to the last game for this episode on YouTube, but we're going to do at least another hour of this on stream, I think, because Dazemon's great. Next is Destruction Derby 64. I vaguely know of the Destruction Derby series. I know it was on the PlayStation. I think there was 3 games, one of which for some reason was a tie-in with WWF. I've heard that none of them were particularly good. But, no. That's fine. I can live with not saving Destruction Derby. Alright. World Championship. Why does it start you with car... What? It starts you with car 2? Why? Like, why make car 1 the second thing, and then... You know, you could have made these, like, numerical order or something sensible, right? Also, we're clearly going with this one because it's my color scheme. Well, I do like Thief. It's one of my favorite PC titles. Oh man, I want to play Thief now. What's the go button? Okay, there's just very little feedback to figure out what is go. Now, if I recall, Destruction Derby, true to its name, is about racing, but also taking out your opponents so they can't beat you in the race. Okay, so that happened. I have no idea where I am on the map. Part of me thinks that I'm like the red dot, but then there are dots driving the opposite way on the track. Okay. This map is confusing to me. Also, the frame rate is, not great. Music's not bad, though. Kind of makes me think it's a little bit Vector Man-y. I'm going to do my best not to cream directly into enemies like that again. You know what this reminds me of? It's a very, very shitty game I played on PlayStation Now called, and I bought it, or I bought it, I played it just because it sounded dumb and absurd. It was called Jimmy Johnson's Anything with an Engine. It was like this weird kart racer that was also Destruction Derby, and like half the racers drove backwards. So it was just like this giant pile-up in half the levels, half the episodes. Bonk! So this is basically Jimmy Johnson's Anything with the Engine on the N64. I'm sure Jimmy Johnson would be proud. Whoa, okay, what was that? Physics? Oh. Wrong way! This game's kind of neat. Like, I'm not gonna say it's great, but it's kind of worth a laugh or two, you know? If this game was $5, I could see buying it. Granted, I said that about Cruisin' Exotica, and apparently that's worth like 100 at this point, which is kind of sad, because I kind of liked it, but I didn't like it that much. And that weird Japanese snowboarding game. That game was pretty legit. Oh! Time bonus. Eat a car. I'm in first place somehow. Nice. Unfortunately, I have very little health. That might be a problem. And there's only 5 cars left. Everyone else is totaled. Whoa, this game could use for a little bit of frame rate stability. But you know, otherwise, this is actually kind of quite playable and quite nice. Not fantastic, but I mean, I've played significantly worse driving games on this multi-cart. Whoa! Okay, now am I supposed to outlast these people, or am I supposed to, like, take X number of laps? Because if I'm trying to survive, I just need to avoid people, because I can't take another hit. I'm not clear on the rules here, game. I'm kind of enjoying this, but... Whoa! Okay. Vanishing point, huh? I might have to look into that one. If it's like this, because I'm actually kind of enjoying this. You know? I heard nothing but bad things about the Destruction Derby games, honestly, but, you know, this... I'm not going to say it's great, but it's certainly playable. It's kind of fun. It's just a nice little goofball time, really. If it was a good price, I could see grabbing this. I'm still not sure if I'm supposed to clear X number of laps, or I'm just supposed to be the last one standing, because I don't think that last one's going to happen. I finished first on fire. Okay, this game gets me. Oh, did Vanishing Point, like, just have some kind of insane draw distance for what it was? Ah, that's clever. You can see the Vanishing Point on the horizon. That's clever. Whoa, okay. Well, clearly we gotta go up here, where they're telling us expressly not to go. I don't know, if I had to pick some, like, N64 driving games I really want to play, the futuristic Rush game I'd really like to play. Also the Disney racing game that Rare put out, because I've never played that one. It's literally the only Rare N64 game I've not played. And I'd imagine it's kind of like Diddy. But you know, this game's kind of alright. I think the N64 is actually handling it pretty well, even if the frame rate's a little bit stuttery. Whoa! Hell of a lot better than Carmageddon. And that weird Lamborghini driving game that didn't work right. Okay. Oh! Ow. Okay, which way am I going? This way, okay. Good, good. This game's a bit chaotic, but it seems kind of fun. I don't think it's necessarily sad that you find more excitement playing, like, or finding weird old games. I think it just means that the current gamescape is just not your scene. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm the same way. That said, you know, there is a game coming out on Tuesday I'm kind of interested in. That is, it's going to be a Pokemon-style game on, like, the PlayStation 4, but it looks like a Game Boy Color game. And it's got, like, a bunch of really cool advanced stuff. I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm going to stream it, honestly. Because I really want to play that. But certainly in, like, the AAA gaming sphere, there's not really much there for me either, you know? Like, I want the new Metroid. In fact, my copy's coming tomorrow, but otherwise, there's just not really anything for me. Everything else I'm interested in is, like, either indie or something weird I have to import from PlayAsia, you know? But I think that's always been sort of the case with me, is I've always been more interested in the weird stuff than, you know, the mainstream stuff, for the most part. I and part of this is just the fact that I've been studying games since before I could walk, you know. I've always had a fascination with the games that try and do something different. Like, everyone knows Mario, but, you know, Mario plays it very, very safe. It's very mechanically sound, but at the same time, it's kind of very bland when you think about it. They don't really do anything terribly inventive with them because they don't want to wreck what works. I get it, but, you know, I'd rather see a game that tries to take some chances, takes, like, an interesting art style, has some fun mechanics that you've never seen before, you know? Even if they don't necessarily work. I've always preferred the more interesting games to, you know, necessarily the more traditional stuff. Earlier this year, I thought about making, like, a top 10 list for my favorite NES games, because for some reason on Twitter, someone made this huge, like, the best NES games list, and for some reason they kept tagging me on it, and it's like, okay, I'm going to show you what the best NES games are, because your list is objectively wrong. The best list wouldn't contain Mario or Zelda, and of course that's what, you know, the entire list was populated with. You know, it was very safe, very traditional, very, you know, by the books list that
anyone would basically say, just because it's the most traditional thing ever that everyone would universally like. But it's like, yeah, that wouldn't be my list of best games on the system. You know, I doubt you'd have heard of most of the games on the system that I would put in the top 10. But, you know, they were still good. And they tried to do something different and interesting that makes them more interesting, I think. But, you know, that's me. I've always just liked to see what people can do and push the envelope when it comes to games. I think seeing the same stuff over and over and over is very reductive, and it leads to situations where they release the same game every year. You know, like they do now, basically. Again, somehow I ended up on fire and still in first. I think I might have to find a copy of that, because that was actually quite a lot of fun. But, yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, this will be the end. If you're on Twitch, we will be back in a sec. But, based on these past 5 games, would I recommend this? Well, DDR Disney Dance Museum is interesting. I think it would be interesting just from a historical standpoint that this exists. And again, for some bizarre reason, there was a DDR on the N64 for some reason. I wouldn't say it's a good game. I wouldn't say it's something you absolutely need, but, you know, it's interesting. Dark Rift was garbage. Deadly Arts was garbage. Derby Stallion I couldn't even play. But, Destruction Derby. Surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. Matin Doji. I don't think I've heard that one. I'll have to look that one up. But anyway, if you're on YouTube, next time we will be back with Dazimon 3D, which I'm excited about. And if you're on Twitch, we're going to be playing that in a sec. But I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, follow the stream. Know we go live, because we try and stream as often as possible. We're getting back into nightly streams, so look forward to that. You might also want to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel, see everything else I do, which is a lot of stuff. Should have a PS2 collection video soonish. I got to finish the audio on it, and I don't have enough music for it yet, so hopefully in a week or two. And if you really want to make my day, check out the show's PayPal or Patreon. Support the show any way you can so that I can continue to do what I do to the best of my ability, which in this case is, you know, find a neat little driving thing that's actually quite good, and then play some really bad fighting games. And also, they made a DDR on the N64. Learning weird stuff like that. That's why I do this, people. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, Internet.